Hey, what's up guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks guys for stopping by again. Today we are going to be working on the shrimp tanks. We finally got the parts that we needed to get the RO system up and running. So we're gonna get that all up and running, get everything mixed up, start working on getting the tanks somewhat aquascaped. Got a bunch of things we got to do to each one of them. So let's go ahead and head on and begin all the work we got to do. Okay, so here we are first of all with the RO unit. This is a previous unit that I used to use when I was doing saltwater. So I've taken this thing out and revived it. This time I actually decided to remove the DI unit on it. That's what gets it down to 0 TDS. The one I had, the resin in it really needed to be replaced, and so I decided just to go without it. Just running it this way gets the TDS to about 50. So that was a close enough start for me for the shrimp again. It's a lot easier to try to get your water all down to the same base values so that when you begin to add the additives, you can get it to exactly what you want. That way when you do water changes, you're always adding the exact same type of water into it. So I need a lot of water, and this thing is slow as Christmas. So we're gonna get this thing running, and we are going to get this 40-gallon trash can completely filled up so that we can begin to set up some of these tanks. As you can see, we've got it running here because this is how long the two hoses that I have are. This one actually reaches up to the trash can, and this other one, which is the wastewater, it goes down over into the area where I have the sump pump that pushes the water outside through the little sprinkler system that I have set up so that it can run out there and water the yard. But the thing about it is today, we don't need to water the yard because it has been flooding here for almost 5 straight days. So everything is completely and utterly saturated, but I need to get this going and get this done, so we're gonna go ahead and work on this. Okay, so you can see here we have got our 40-gallon trash can completely full of water. So the next things that we need to do is get the additives in there that get the water to the correct hardness for the shrimp. So let's come over here and grab that. This is the stuff that I got from Flip Aquatics. This is Shrimp Mineral, GH. The instructions are actually designed for European, so they don't list anything in gallons. So I had to convert to gallons from liters. It says you use 1 spoonful for 10 liters. So for a 40-gallon one, I needed about 15 of these little spoonfuls that come in here to put in the water. Get all that poured in there, let all that get mixed up. And then the next thing we need to do is these top tanks here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the ones that I am going to be converting all to shrimp tanks. None of these tanks have ever had any fish in them at all. They've just naturally turned green. What's weird is how 4 of them turned green and 3 of them didn't turn green, and they're all running the exact same thing. Some have Java moss in it, some don't, but again, that one has Java moss, that one doesn't. But yet some of them are green and some of them aren't green, so I don't have any idea. So these things are fully cycled. They've been going for, man, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months now. So what we need to do is we've got about 40 gallons right now to work with, so we're gonna go ahead and work on just 4 tanks. We'll probably do these 4 bottom ones first. So the first thing we need to do is get these tanks emptied, get the sponge and some water so it doesn't, so none of the bacteria die off. And then we need to get all of the snails that we have in here removed, because the snails are going to outcompete the shrimp for food. So we need to make sure we get all of those removed, and then we will begin to take the stratum that we have, the Fluval Stratum, and put it at the bottom, and then we'll take the dragonstone that we have and kind of get it assorted, get the sponge back in there, get the water filled back up again, and then I'll show you guys in just a little bit once we get all 4 of these tanks finished and looking much better. We'll try to get some Java moss in each and every one of them. The really reason that I have these crushed coral bags in here, at first when I was running these tanks I didn't have sponges in them. So I was using those to let the bacteria build up on them because they're really, really porous. They'll build a tremendous amount of bacteria on them. And so some of the 10-gallon tanks that I had that I was removing them, I just threw them in here. That way there would be an overabundance of bacteria. So the idea is the shrimp, I mean not the shrimp, but the snails that are in here, I kept kind of feeding the shrimp. Gosh. I kept feeding the snails, and the snails would produce the waste that the bacteria needs. So let's go ahead and get all that stuff cleared up, and I'll show you the aftershots. Okay, so this is what we have to work with on the shrimp tanks. We've got our 2 bags of Fluval Stratum. We've got a bunch of Spiderwood. We've got our Catappa leaves. And we've got a whole bunch of Dragonstone. All right, so let's go in there and let's start getting these tanks cleaned out and start getting this stuff in. So here we are. We've got 2 of the shrimp tanks done now. You can see we've got the Spiderwood in there with the Dragonstone. Also put a little bit of Java moss in each one of them. You'll see in the back there's still some of the bags that I have of the crushed coral. The reason that I have those in there is because these sponges haven't been in here for too terribly long, but the crushed coral bags, they've been in other tanks for a long time, so they're heavily seeded with bacteria. So I don't want to pull those things out yet until I know these sponges are completely seeded. But you can see I've just done a little bit of aquascaping, not like there's much to it. The rocks are kind of big, so I don't really want to put more than 1 in them. I forgot when I started to put these things together that this wood is a type that wants to float on you. So I thought I was going to make the video earlier, but I had to sink the wood and I had to cable tie it onto some of these rocks for 5 or 6 days to get it submerged so that it would stay under. But as you can see, it's staying under just fine now. So everything is good to go. Got everything that I could possibly need. So I've got some shrimp ordered. One of the guys that watches my channel, Messer, he was kind enough to offer to sell me some shrimp at a price that I just couldn't pass. He's going to give me some cherries and some oranges, and those are supposed to be in on Wednesday. So as soon as those come in, I will do an unboxing of those things and get them put in here and begin to work on the rest of the tanks to get each one of these 9 up and going so we can have a whole bunch of cool shrimp. Thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure and leave any comments that you may have. Be sure and hit that subscribe button if you hadn't hit that subscribe button already. Thanks again, guys. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and God bless.